Hello and welcome to this orientation for the ActivPanel 9 and the ActivPanel 9 Premium panels. This is a small note just to make you aware that as of February the 9th, 2024, a new update was pushed out to the ActivPanel 9 and Premium panels. We'll go over how to update your panels throughout the orientation, but if you want to do it, you go to your applications, find the update app and press check for updates. Your panel should then update all by itself to the latest version. This version contains the new Explain Everything Whiteboard app. The Explain Everything Whiteboard app is a significant update to the current Whiteboard app on the ActivPanel 9 and ActivPanel 9 Premium panels. In the video itself, I will take you through a guide on how to use Explain Everything on the panels and also how to access your content away from the panel on any internet connected device such as a PC, Surface Pro, computer, iPad, etc. I've replaced the original whiteboard section of this orientation with a new Explain Everything section, so don't be alarmed when the video changes slightly to a voiceover and I'm no longer on the screen. I will be back for the rest of the orientation, which remains the same as before this significant update. Thanks for watching. Bye now. Hello and welcome to this orientation training video for the ActivPanel 9. Today we're going to cover the ActivPanel 9 and the ActivPanel 9 Premium. I'm going to take you through the features the panel has, how to use them in the classroom and how to get set up. And the first thing you're going to be able to see is a very short clip on how to download the Promethean app onto any mobile or iPad device. It also works on Android. Once you watch this video and I've downloaded the app, join me again for the next section where we'll start to look at signing into the panel and getting started. You can find the Promethean app in all app stores on iPhones and Androids. Download the app on a mobile device, and once you have downloaded, you need to register for a new account. You can do this using your C2K email and password. When you've registered and signed in, the app will allow you to sign in using the app itself for your panel. As you can see from the above, you can also edit elements of your account on the panel. That might be your wallpaper or an element like language on your panel. When you're ready to sign into your panel, if you go to the ActivPanel 9 section or the ActivPanel section on the bottom row of options, you will be presented with the opportunity to either enter a code or scan your QR code that will be present on the panel. Now that you've got the Promethean app on your iPad, iPhone, Android phone, and have signed in and registered, you should be ready to go. When you turn on your ActivPanel 9, you will be greeted with the following screen: sign in or continue as guest. Now, you can continue as guest and use the panel with 90% of its capacities and capabilities with very little issue. So if you don't want to sign in and go through this process, then you certainly can. But it's advisable because, as you'll see, when you've signed in and you use your account, you'll be able to take a lot of things with you should you ever move to a room with another ActivPanel 9, or if you want to save things like cloud devices or accounts, or possibly even to send email things. Just makes your process and the general using of the panel a lot more easier on a day-to-day basis. So if I did want to continue as a guest, I would just tap on continue as a guest and I'd be able to continue. As you can see along the bottom here, we've also got, hopefully you can see me by the way on the camera, it should be slightly smaller, and you can see the screen that I'm sharing in much more stark visibility because that's the important stuff. But on the bottom left hand corner you'll see guest. Now if I tap on guest, I can sign in to Promethean, so even if that screen is gone, I change my mind and I want to sign in, I can just press sign in. If I want to lock the screen, I can press lock. It will lock the screen. It will also ask me to set a lock code, just like a passcode on a phone or an iPad, in order to unlock it for security reasons. If I tap anywhere at all, then it will go away and I'll be able to move along. If I hit on the front of the panel, you've got this central console with a flame on it. You've got a little snowflake, a wee finger touch button, a source button, 2 volume buttons and a power button as well. What you also have with both versions of the ActivPanel is the remote. The remote is really, really important because obviously it does the usual stuff. I can turn it off if you hit the power button, or the volume buttons will make it go up and down, as you can see here. But also you can navigate about the panel as well. So as we'll get into, and once we start going through apps and things like that, you can do all of that pretty much from the remote. The remote is an IR scanner remote, which means you can access it from pretty much anywhere in the room at a lot of different angles. I know you can't see me because I'm moving away from the camera here, but if I move and I use my remote, you can see I can navigate about the panel and use things. I can open up apps, I can close apps, I can change the source and do all sorts of things like that. Now, I won't do that at the moment, but that's a really, really useful capability of the remote, especially if you like to move around the room and you don't want to be tied to your panel at all times. But we'll come back to this. If I want to sign in and I'm on an ActivPanel 9 Premium, you have the option of using an NFC card, which looks like this. The NFC card reader is on the bottom left-hand corner as I'm standing on the panel, and you simply tap the card and it will sign you in to the registered account that this is set up with. It's very easy to do. On the app, you'll see a section under your accounts for NFC cards, and you simply use this card to tap on it and it will be your registered account. Most people will also have the ability of using your phone as well. If you're on ActivPanel 9, not on ActivPanel 9 Premium, you don't have an NFC card reader, but you can sign in the same way using the Promethean app, as we discussed there slightly earlier. Now, when I get to the Promethean app, it'll bring me to my sign-in page as the video is showing you. And if I was to click on my menu here, my little arrow or my flame, go to guest, and then go to sign in to Promethean, you'll see I've got a couple of options. I can tap on my NFC card to sign me in. If you tap on a blank NFC card, it will ask you, do you want to register that account to your card? I can also use on my desktop, if I've got a desktop app signed in as well, or I can type in the code or scan the QR code. I'm going to scan the QR code, a little bit difficult for you to see. Press scan QR. It's going to scan just there, and that's it starting to sign in. I don't need to hold my phone over it the whole time. I can put my phone down now, and it will sign me in. Likewise, I can use my card to tap on there and it will sign me in just the same. The cards are really, really useful because if you move rooms a lot, you don't have to get your phone out. If you are looking at the premium models, that's a big advantage of that. Post-primary schools really will probably use that. If you're in primary or you just don't want to use the card, you can obviously use the phone as well. So sign me in. I've got my own wallpaper, something you can change, by the way, in the app. So if you have a look in the app, the actual Promethean app, on your phone or on your tablet, you'll be able to go into your settings and you can change and edit the wallpaper on your device from the phone, and remember that the next time you log in, which can be quite nice thing to do. Now, on the panel itself, if I go to the little flame button again, it brings up a little sort of a unified menu along the bottom here, and I've raised my video of me slightly above that so you can see all the stuff on here. Now, unlike previous versions of the panel, this is fully customizable, so we can change the apps that are in here. So if I've got the whiteboard in here, I can tap and hold on there, and you'll see I've got an option that says keep in menu that's currently ticked. If I untick that, then that would be taken out of that menu whenever I closed it. So if I didn't want that to open every time, I could take it out. Or I could open it up at sign-in, say I want to come in and open it up straight away, so I'm ready to go, I can tap on that one as well. Similarly, if I wanted to do with any of these, it could be exactly the same, tap on it, I can change it around. Now if I am, say, standing in the centre of my panel and I'm teaching, that's fine. But if I move down to one of the particular sides, such as here, hope you can still see me, I want to be able to access my apps. I don't want to have to keep walking over and touching here. So if I just tap on the bottom right hand beside what looks like a wee Wi-Fi symbol on the 3 lines, my apps will follow me. They'll move down to the right hand side. I move to the middle, I tap on the middle, I'll move back to the middle. If I move to the left hand side, I'll move to the left hand side. You can see I'm signed in as Stuart Montgomery. If I tap on here, I can access my account details now. I can lock the screen or I can sign out, and I can change elements on my account as well. Now, you may be thinking, okay, what about things like volume and Wi-Fi and settings and things like that? Well, your Wi-Fi, all your settings are under the Wi-Fi options. It'll tell you what you're connected to. So in most schools within Northern Ireland, that will be the CTK wireless. Maybe a different one, but generally it will be that one. Just above that, you've got these 3 lines. These are really, really important. So one thing they allow you to do is change the source. Now, you can do that in a couple of different ways. You can either tap source switch and bring up the source menu, or you can tap on the source button physically on the actual console itself, or you can tap the source button on the remote itself. So either way, you can change the source. You obviously navigate to the one you want with the remote, or just tap on it. It will change the source to whatever is plugged into your panel. So if we go back to our menu here, press on the flame button, and we go to the 3 lines, it's going to bring up AVI settings. So just above source switch is AVI settings, and these are all of the different settings you have on the panel to change. As you can see there, visuals, audio, interaction, things like that. By default, the panel's set to about here when it comes out, about sort of halfway, 50% of the actual backlight quality. I tend to turn that right up to get the best quality screen for my classroom, means I'm not having to close blinds or things like that. There's also a really nice feature called Reduce Blue Light. Reduce Blue Light is a feature that iPhones have, where if you're in a particularly dark room or a room that maybe you have to strain your eyes to see the screen, it might be too glaring by staring at it all day. If you toggle this on, it changes the look of the actual screen itself. You can hopefully see that on the screen. It's really, really useful for pupils that have any sort of visual issues, or even teachers for that matter. I've known a few teachers have used it. Toggle it back off there if you don't want to use it. Go to the audio, and you can play with your audio here. To be honest with you, you're not going to tinker with these too often. You're probably just going to change the volume using the volume on the remote or volume on the front, but you can change the volume here as well if you want. You can change, if you're that way inclined, you can look at the balance and the bass and all that sort of stuff if you want. And interaction is really important as well. So interaction allows you to have different ways of touching the screen in terms of writing or contributing to input and information. So you've got pan mode and you've got thick end pen mode. Now, when you're using the panel, I should have mentioned also, you get a pen with it as well. Imagine a number of pens, looks a bit like this. The thick end, they mean this thick part here. You've also got the writing part as well. So pan mode refers to what your palm does whenever it's using the whiteboard app where you're writing things on it, and we'll come to that. So if I wanted to go to my interaction and I wanted to make sure when I rub on it, it rejects things, then, or it erases stuff, I choose eraser. If I wanted to lean on the panel, or lean with my actual palm, my side on it, I would choose reject palm. Most teachers I come across tend to use the eraser version because they like to be able to write on something and then very quickly rub it out, or write with their finger maybe, and then rub it away with the same hand. Thick end mode is pen or eraser. If you wanted your pen to write and then flip it over and use it as an eraser, you would choose eraser or just use the other end. I tend to use pen because what that allows you to do is you have multiple pens on the panel at the same time, so people could be using two of these maybe and writing at different points. But it will vary from teacher to teacher or from lesson to lesson, but it's very, very easy for you to change. If we go back to the flame button again and we have a look at our little taskbar, one of the things on here is applications, probably the most important thing, and we'll get into these other apps as we go, but if you go into applications, it brings up a little box that has a number of different apps in it, and there are quite a few in here, and you can see from just at the bottom of the box there, we've got 4 little circles, and that means there's 4 pages of apps, essentially. If I swipe across, you can see I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if you were to look at your panel, perhaps when you're doing this or maybe afterwards, and even if you're signed in as a new user, maybe even as a guest, you'll have very little apps. So you probably have a page and maybe 1 or 2 on the next page, and they're the default apps. These are all default apps, the Promethean apps that are already on your panel. Probably from my school onwards, my school is obviously a very Northern Ireland centric app. These are all apps that I have added, so you can customise this and add your own apps depending on how you teach. And it's quite a nice way of doing this. It's easy. It doesn't involve an app store, which is really nice because it means you're not having to sign in, remember passwords, and also deleting them is a lot more simple. You don't have to go into an app store, go into your apps and then delete them. You literally just tap on them. So I'm going to go into my applications here, and I'm going to have a look at a specific app, and the app is one of my default apps, and it's called Chromium. Just looks like this, so the Google Chrome icon there. The Google Chrome will allow me to navigate about the panel. Now an interesting thing to point out very quickly is whenever you open up any app, it'll open up kind of in the middle of the screen, and you've got this little black bar that appears along the bottom, or sort of blackish, dark greyish. If you grab that moving about, you can move this about. Okay, I can move to the left hand side, the right hand side, and as you can imagine, I could fit a number of windows on the screen at the same time. One of the things here, if I want to make this full screen, it looks like 2 diagonal arrows. If I tap on the 2 diagonal arrows, it makes them full screen. Now if I wanted to bring that back, I tap on the diagonal arrows again, but they're now pointing inwards, and it puts it back. If I wanted to close it, I press the X. If I wanted to resize it, the wee collection of little dots in the bottom left hand corner allows me to resize this to whatever size I want. And as you can imagine, that means we can fit a number of apps on the pages. But let's just make it full screen for now. We'll make it full screen and we're going to go to an app. Now as you can see, I've added a lot of apps and probably ran out of apps that I can actually add on here, but we'll add one as a duplicate anyway. So we're going to open up our browser and we're going to type in a specific web page. When you tap anywhere that involves text, the text box comes up, and you can grab the text box by grabbing just the wee bottom bit with the wee 4 arrows here. What's also nice about here is you can customize this. If you tap on here, you get some little green corners get highlighted. If you drag these out, just here, you can make this bigger you can make it smaller. So you can customize it to suit you, which is really nice. So I'm going to go and I'm going to type in Newsround. So Newsround is a really useful website. A lot of primary schools would use it an awful lot. If you're post-primary, it might not be something you would use. I'm going to go to Watch Newsround because it refreshes every day, and it means I can get to this page specifically without having to type in anything. So I'm now at the page I want to be at. I could press play, I'm not going to. I'm going to press the 3 dots in the top right hand corner. So if you look at top right, I'll show you again. 3 dots, top right hand corner, and then on this little tab, I'm going to tap on Add to Home Screen. So it's going to add this website essentially as an app to my home screen. And what it will give me the option of doing, it will give me the option of changing the name. So it's called BBC, that's a bit vague. I'm going to tap on here, I'm going to move my little text box out of the way, and I'm going to call it Newsround. Now, if you're using a ActivPanel 9 Premium, you also have an inbuilt microphone. So if I delete that and I tap on the microphone, Newsround, you can see it will type it in there. Now, if you're thinking, oh sorry, tap on that again. So it's very good, very sensitive. But if you are thinking, well, I don't have a premium, how can I do this? If you have an inbuilt microphone on a webcam, it will do the same. So you could use that as well. Now, noise of a classroom, I know that's not necessarily always going to be the case, but it's a nice little feature to have as well. It does come into play a bit later on the microphone. I'm going to press add, I've added that in. If I close this, just to show you what I mean, I'm going to close this. So now I've got no tabs open at all, no windows open. So if I go to applications, I come across here, you see there's Newsround here, BBC Newsround, it's going to open it up. There we go. If I press full screen there, it'll bring me to that page and I'll be able to watch Newsround. It works on any website, so if I do a few more. Now, the websites are really good because Newsround isn't an app, but it's something maybe a lot of teachers would use every day, and there'll be websites that you use every day that aren't apps, but you can do the same for that, so you can add them in. You can also add in specific videos. I'll give you a really useful one here. If you've got YouTube on and you want to search for, let's say, Costa Rica, which is just a video about birds, there's a travel guide here. We're not actually going to watch it, we're going to put it on here. Now, if you are like myself, and I was a teacher obviously, and you use like YouTube a lot, pause this. Good speakers as well. You will be keen to use YouTube, but the one drawback you might have is ads. So if you find the video that you want to use and you go to where the URL is, and you just tap on it, and what you need to do is if you tap in between the T and the UBE, so UT, and just tap a wee hyphen, so just hyphen just there under the 6, and then press enter. What it will do is we'll open that page up essentially without ads. So this is the same video. Now I have YouTube Premium, so it wouldn't pay ads anyway, but it will not play any ads. If I press here, same one. Also does it full screen, which is really nice. Now I can, for this video, go to the 3 dots, go to add to home screen, and I can add that specific video in here to my locker. That's really useful because it means I'm not going to have to worry about ads and things like that. So there's my Costa Rica travel guide. Tap on here, it's going to open up. I'm going to make it full screen, give it a second to open up there, press play, bang. It's exceptionally useful and also really, really nice not to have to worry about ads and things like that. So very, very, very good. The nice thing about this obviously is we're looking at something like YouTube, but let's say it was an app like Class Dojo. Now, Class Dojo is a brilliant app, and the thing about apps that you would use on your iPads, or anything really, is the apps are generally identical to what the websites are. They're pretty much exactly the same. The reason we tend to use apps because it's a lot more convenient for you to access something that's on your desktop already that you can open up, which is quite nice. Now I've got here the website. I'm not going to sign in, I don't have a Class Dojo account anymore, but if I was to go to the 3 dots here and go to add to home screen, press add, that's when it added in. When you sign in with your details, it will remember your sign in, and the series or the sort of the theme, the way you use it will be identical to how you use it on a tablet. Now, as I mentioned, they're easy to delete. So if I come across back to Class Dojo here, there it is just there in the bottom left hand corner, I want to delete that, dead easy. You tap and hold, so press delete shortcut, I can press delete. I can also rearrange things as well. If I want to take there's a Newsround here, click here, or tap on and delete that one if I want to. You can delete things, you can move it around, you can see the type of things that I have added There's loads really, and I think it's really, really important for you to experiment and find websites that you would use quite a lot, but you make it work for you, so you can jump in, you can sign in. Now, one of the things I think is really, really important to do when you first get your panel is actually to make sure it's fully up to date. Now, it can be done by remotely by someone in the school. There's a system called Panel Management that's completely free, that an awful lot of schools, especially larger schools, take advantage of. But I'll show you as a teacher watching this how to do it. It's very, very simple. You open your applications and you're looking for the Update app. It may not be in the first page, it may be on the second page. So if you come across, there's Update just there on the top line there, just beside Timer. And if I was to tap on it there, it's going to bring up a little pop-up menu. Now, the pop-up menu is going to have a lot of information. I'm an IT coordinator, but I would say ignore all of it pretty much, because what it will do is it will basically search online to tell you if there's an update available. There isn't, that's why it says online update now, and your ActivPanel is already up to date. So if there was one available, that would say, oh, there's a new version available, would you like to update now? That little online update would be purple, and you'd be able to tap on it. Once you've tapped on it, it will do it all itself. You can go make a cup of coffee and come back about 10-15 minutes later. It can depend on your Wi-Fi speed, because I have to download the update, but generally it's about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's how you update it. In terms of how often, it's hard to tell, but I think if you were to check generally I said every half term, but because the ActivPanel 9 is relatively new at the time of speaking, in early 2023, I think it's probably a good day to check every month. I know there's one imminently coming down the line, but I think every month is probably a good time to check. As you can see, it only takes you a couple of seconds, so it's not particularly difficult to do. But checking your updates is really important. We've obviously talked about signing in, so we've got signed in, and the fact that we've added all these little things in here, these will follow me. So if I was to sign out of this panel and go to a different panel that was an ActivPanel 9 as well, and I tap my card, or an ActivPanel 9, I scan my QR code, then that means I'm signed in, and all my stuff will follow me just like that. So I don't even need to add them again. Once I've added them once, that's them added. Another thing that's really, really useful and really important to do is think about Cloud Connect. And by that I mean like cloud storage, like Google Drive and OneDrive. So if you go into your applications again, as I've already done, and you click Cloud Connect, what you're able to do is you're able to set up either a Google Drive or a OneDrive, as I've done here. Now I'm going to show you how to do it, even though I've already done it here, but it's very, very simple. You go to Add Account, and you can add as many of these as you want. You see I've got one Google and one OneDrive. That doesn't matter, I can have as many as I need. I'm going to go to Google Drive. Now I'm not actually going to sign in because I've already done so on here with my account. I haven't got another account to add on here. That's what it says. We'd like to sign in as the one you have. I'm going to go to use another account. This is what you'll get presented with. This screen here where it says sign in, you press enter here and you sign in with your email. Teachers in Northern Ireland will just use their C2K email and password. That will be the use for both of them. So you'll be able to sign in with the C2K email and your password for Google Drive and for OneDrive, and you can add both of them in there. Once you've signed in, you literally email and password, that's it. That's done. So when you go back into your applications, as I've just done there, and into Cloud Account, you'll be presented with this screen here. We have two signed in accounts. If you tap on the wee cog, you can remove account if you want to get rid of one. Now what this means as well is this will follow you from room to room. It's on your profile, so it's on your card if you have a premium, it's on the app if you have a standard, or if you have a premium as well. And it means if you go to a new panel or even go to a new room at the end of the year maybe, everything goes with you. It's also really nice if you want to save things to print them as well, because although you can use USB sticks and things like that, that's no problem. It's really probably much more efficient to be able to send things to and from these cloud accounts, which is really, really useful. If I was to tap on one of these, it will open up my Files app, and I'm going to come back to this, but you can jump into either of them by tapping on them, but let me show you the Files app separately first. So I'm going to go back to my home screen. If you ever want to jump back to your home screen to be nice and clean, press the source button and then just press home, and it'll bring you back to your home screen like that. I'm going to tap my applications just like this, and I'm going to go into the Files app, and the Files app is also really, really important. Click on the Files app, and I'm going to make it full screen so we can all see, and you can see some of the things that I've downloaded in my files are just here. So I've got some screenshots, some pictures, some shapes, things I've been using for the course of a lesson. I've got some PowerPoint in here as well. Now if I wanted to open up a specific thing on here, I could do that. So I could open up my files, some of my internal storage. I can also open up things directly from my Google Drive. Now what's interesting about this is if I had it could be anything. It could be a guide on how to use something. This is a random one about list of apps. I can open up a PDF from here. we can sign in just like that. So there's my so there is my PDF. Okay, I can scroll through this. This was on my Google Drive, but I can open it up. I can zoom out, zoom in, scroll through it, and use it just like that. So we can open up things via our Files app. Now, the Files app's already open. You can see it just there on the bottom. Again, I can tap this to move it across here. I can tap it to move it back. Open up the Files app here and back into my files. If you've got anything stored on your Google Drive or your OneDrive, you can open it directly from here. So that can be really, really nice if you use PowerPoints quite a lot and you want to use a PowerPoint that happens to be on your Google Drive. So I've got a PowerPoint here that I'll find. Actually, it's not one here. So this is a PowerPoint I've used before. Tap on this one and I'm going to open it up, and it will open up in the browser and I'll be able to use it just like a regular PowerPoint. So I believe it's a fairly short one, to be honest. It may even just be one page. I think it is one page, you know. And it's 2 pages, I think. Yes, 2 pages. So if I was to go to slideshow, I can open that up. Now I've used Google Drive, it's opened it up in Google Slides, but if I use that in OneDrive, it would open up in PowerPoint, but PowerPoint online on Microsoft 365. So there is my device here. I can use this and swipe through and use it just like that. As you can see, I have the same things I would use in a regular PowerPoint. If I press the X, I can close this. If I wanted to open up a different thing, I could do the same there. Films, movies, PDFs, PowerPoints, Word documents, you name it, you can open up directly from your Files app. Kind of makes the need of using your PC fairly less. You're less pressure on that to be able to use it, because you can open these up and you can use it or showcase it to the class, which is quite nice. So that's something I really would highly recommend, is making sure your cloud accounts are all synced up. Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Explain Everything Whiteboard. Explain Everything Whiteboard is a brand new app available on the Promethean ActivPanel 9 and ActivPanel 9 Premium panels. You will be able to access it when you update your ActivPanel 9 Premium and ActivPanel 9 panels after the 7th of February. This is a free update and includes the full app. There are no subscription fees, no extra costs. It's yours to use for as long as you want. This little video is to demonstrate some of the features of the Explain Everything Whiteboard in order to showcase what it can do if you're considering either getting a new panel from Promethean or possibly upgrading from an older model to a 9 or a 9 Premium. So let's get started. What you can see on the screen is my ActivPanel 9. And obviously this works on both models, Premium and Non, but it doesn't matter what I'm showing at the moment. You should also be able to see where I'm touching on the screen. This should be provide some guidance as to how easy it is to use this, but the video itself isn't so much an orientation as it is showcasing what it could do. So if you do think this looks great, he's going very quick, don't worry, we provide training for the Explain Everything Whiteboard app and all the aspects of the panel for Promethean users as well. So you'll find the Explain Everything Whiteboard on your taskbar, which is just here. You can see mine is just here. Now, you can pin this to your taskbar so it's always there and always available. I'm obviously signed in as myself here. You don't need to be signed in. It will work on the guest account. It will also work on any ones you might want to sign in. You'll also find it in your applications as soon as you update it, just here. Okay, if you don't know how to update your panel and you've watched this video and think, oh, I'd like to do that, and I have a ActivPanel 9 or 9 Premium, how you do it is you go into your applications, as I've just done, you choose Update, and then you press Check for Updates. It'll update for me just there. If an update was available, it would say, here, there's an update available, would you like to update? And you press Online Update. Now, obviously, I can't do it because I've already updated it. So let's get started. So we're going to click into the Explain Everything app. And we're going to be presented with a bit of a home screen here. And I had previously had something on here that I was using, so I'm going to show you the home screen in a wee minute. You can have a look at the features. It'll tell you all the stuff it can do. As you can see, you can use previous or previously made Promethean whiteboard files. You can carry on from where you were. It's got an autosave feature as well. There's multi-slides in terms of you can have as many slides as you want, and obviously you can have all the features from the old Promethean whiteboard as well as a lot more. The whole, I think,
pulling power, and the really interesting thing about Explain Everything Whiteboard is it allows you to collate media together, which is really significant. So if I've got a number of different apps I want to use, such as I want to use PowerPoint, and I want to use PDFs, and I want to use videos, and I want to use text that I can type into the screen. I also want to write on as well. You can use all those things directly on the panel. You don't need any external devices as well. Now, let's get started. Now, we're in a brand new whiteboard, and that's what it'll open to. This option won't come up every time in terms of showing you the features. But if I wanted to go back, just take a wee step back for a second, I'm going to press up here. I know you can see where I'm pointing at my little home screen here. So tap on the wee home. It'll ask you, do you want to save what you've done? Just like any Word document would do. I'm not going to save it. So I'm going to press discard. This is our new project starting page, and this is where you'll basically see, or what you'll see as soon as you turn Explain Everything on for the first time each morning as well. So with 3 options, we've got blank canvas, we've got template, and we've got files. So files, we'll start off with this one first, allows us to open up any type of file within Explain Everything. So if I wanted to open up a PowerPoint, I could do that on Explain Everything on the board. In the past, any panel, including Promethean panels, needed to have PowerPoint installed to be able to open up a PowerPoint. We do not need that anymore. So if you don't want to have a computer connected to your panel and you just wanted to have PowerPoint available directly on here, well, you can do that really, really easily. Not just PowerPoint, of course, PDFs, movies, literally any type of document you would generally use in a classroom, you can open on here straight from your panel, whether it's locally installed or if it's something from Google Drive. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to have a look at the templates. So we've looked at the files here, obviously. We're now going to look at the template. So if I click on the template, you'll see we've got a whole load of different templates we can access straight away without having to download any content. They're straight away available to us as teachers. And there's lots of different things. Now you can scroll through them all here. You can see you've got loads of different ones. Some might be curriculum based, such as KWL charts or maybe observations. Some are more in depth and some are more general for different purposes. So specific topics or maybe multiplication charts, 3D shapes, and they will, run the gamut from different types of subject areas, different types of key stages and things like that. You can see down the left hand side we've got different categories as well to help you choose, whether it's data visualization, which may be more of a post-primary and primary kind of mix, maybe plan stuff, which would kind of be anybody here or any area. Key 1 to 8 subject areas as well are in here. And if you want to open something up, it's really, really simple. There's also some really nice backgrounds and frames to use stuff. So let's pick something fairly basic. Let's just go to a subject area and we'll open up this thing on the maps, world maps here. So click on world maps and it's going to download the project instantaneously and it's going to open up there very, very quickly. There's my lesson done. Now, point out a couple of things. One of them, obviously, is quite a specific color scheme here, which we've got. The color scheme is also reflected directly on the the colors used for the pens and the pencils and the filters. So it's very much on theme from what you're using. That'll happen automatically. You can of course change them, as I'll show you later on. If we look just down here where I'm sort of pointing, it says 1 out of 4. If I press this up arrow, you can see we've got different pages here and they all have different individualized content. So if I want to go into 2 to 4, I've got mountain ranges, and I want to go to 3 to 4, I've got rivers. I want to go to 4 to 4, I've got oceans and seas. So these are all set up for you straight away. You can add your own in, you can edit these, you can change them, you can delete them, you can add more pages in, etc. They're very much up to you to use. And if I want to save that, I can tap on here and change the name if I want to, or I press the home screen and I'm going to discard this because I don't want to save it. So it's really easy to pick up and start a lesson with a whole lot of different resources available at your fingertips. But we want to have a demonstration of what this can do. So to do that, we're going to go to a blank canvas, and the blank canvas itself is going to let us from scratch create some content. So obviously, as I said at the start, this isn't an orientation. It's not showing you how to do this. We can provide that, or we will provide that to anyone using Promethean panels. This is more showcasing what it can do. So if there are bits and bobs that I'm missing or not maybe explaining fully as I should, this is why. So down the left hand side here, and I'm going to just draw around it here, we've got our toolbar, and the toolbar does an awful lot of different things, as you can probably see. The main thing, and the thing that's on by default, is the pencil or the pen tool, the draw tool, as you can see that it's called. This obviously is a tool a lot of teachers are going to use straight away. So you tap on the draw tool, you choose your color, and you simply start writing. So whatever you want to write on here, you're straight away. The panels are 1-to-1. There is 10 milliseconds or 5 milliseconds touch in terms of latency, which basically means it writes very quickly and very, very accurately. What I can also do is I can move this around, which is really useful. So if I'm standing now, as you can probably see where my finger is, I'm now on the right hand side of the panel. And what I want to do is I want to keep writing and write some sentences, and then I want to change the color. And so I don't have to come all the way across to here. I can keep this over here where I'm writing, change the color here to underline some things, or change color to circle some things in a different color. It allows me to be a lot more flexible as a teacher as I'm walking around the room. We can change the color of these as well, so you can, or the size, I should say, of different colors if we want to as well. Just there, blah, blah, blah. We can also change it back to whatever we're using. And we can use a pen or a pencil. So if we want to use a pencil here, we can change the thickness of that pencil as well. There we go, writing things down. If I'm doing art lessons, I could use it for that as well. The colors, as you saw in the previous example, were different to this one. These are the default set of colors, your black, red, blue, green, and yellow. We can change them. Let's say I don't use yellow very often. I want to use a different color. If I tap on that, as you can see, I can change the color. I've got some set colors here, but I've also got loads and loads and loads here as well as a color palette. This is my custom colors. This purple is one I used earlier, but if I wanted to find a different one, I just press the little plus and I could choose whatever color I like. I can also use a dropper and choose a specific color. This blue obviously is the exact same, so let's choose maybe this kind of blue here, so it's a lighter blue. So I've changed it to that there. So now whenever I'm writing, as you can probably see here, it'll now be that blue that I'm using. If I want to change it to a different one, I can do that as well. So it allows me to be really flexible with what I'm doing in terms of my writing. Now, if I wanted to highlight, it's exactly the same thing. I could use a highlighter now. I'll highlight over the top. We can change the thickness as well to make it thicker. Oops, it is. Right around here, circle this. And of course, if we want to, we'll be able to delete that, as you'll see just in a wee moment. Now we're going to have a look at some of the other tools. Now I won't go into all of these for obvious reasons that we're trying to very briefly show you what this can do. We've obviously talked about the pen, talked about the highlighter as well. What we want to do now is have a look at the ability to rub content out, remove content, add shapes, text, cut things out, and then we'll talk about the add media. So we're going to have a look very quickly at how to rub things out. Very easy to do. You've got the rubber here. You can either rub using your finger or you can use your palm, which rubs things out really, really quickly, no matter what you're using. We also have a feature on here when you're looking at the rubbers, is that's the one at the top here, which is currently grayed out, and there's a very specific reason for that, and that allows us to have whatever we've done, the latest piece of writing, allows to rub out just that. So if I was to write out, the dog ran away. I'm very untidy here, of course, and I wanted then to take my highlighter and highlight specifically maybe nouns. So I'm highlighting this word here. And then whenever I want to come along, I now want to rub out, but not rub out the ran away or even the word dog. I want to rub out the highlighter only. So if I come across to show you here, it's not rubbing out the highlighter, or the words, is rubbing out just the highlighter. This is called a live rubber. It rubs out the last option that you did. What also works is with your palm as well, which is really cool. So I can use my palm to rub it out straight away. This one rubs out absolutely everything, so I could use it like that. I can also rub things out by just tapping and holding on the screen and pressing clear all drawings straight away, because all my writing has a back button and a redo button at the bottom as well there. There's a collection of math tools on here as well. So I've got a ruler here, and I'm going to make sure I choose the correct color. I could draw on here. I could do another one just there. There we go. Come up here, spin this around just where my square is, a 62. Come down just to there. So if I want to grab, let's say I'm going to go to my protractor. I've got a full protractor on here as well, which is really cool. And I'm going to use red this time. Actually, it's way too small. I should go back up to here. There we go. I'm going to do a red angle just here, and I'm also going to do a blue angle over here. I could then make sure I'm pinned this. That's better there. Get rid of this, and I can grab those. I can use them. I can grab them whenever I want. So I'm going to grab this here. I can grab this here. As they fit different angles, I can spin them around. I can make them bigger. I could duplicate them. So I could pull this over here and say, right, this is here, and I want to duplicate that. So see, is that angle going to fit twice? So I could do that as well. I could duplicate it. There's the second one there. just behind it, or top of it I should say. I could even flip that around. So I could spin it around if I want to, and do like this, and spin it on here. So well, you can see it's not working at all, so we need to have at least one more there for it to work. Get rid of all that really quickly. You can click and drag, press the bin, you can delete it as well. You can lock all these items as well, which is really significant and really helpful as well. Shapes, whole lot of different shapes on here. You can choose your type of shape. So I want to put, say, circles on here, and I can choose a color. So you just tap on here, choose your color for your fill, choose a color for your border. I'm going to use purple. And so when I click and draw, it's going to make this shape here. I can choose whether I want to, when I make one shape, to then move on to my hand tool so I can start moving it around, or if I want to make it multiple ones, so I can turn this off here, change the border width, have a shadow on this one, and I'm going to use a different color this time. We're going to use green, and we're going to use purple. So again, I can click and drag as many of these as I want. And what I'd like to do afterwards is change the color. So this is green. I want now to be blue. I want this one. This could be green. I want this one to be orange. So again, we can go to plus, find orange, go to done, go to here. We'll do one more. We'll use a different color. Let's use that blue from earlier, actually. Use that blue one there. So now I want to collect these. The wee arrow tool in here allows me to grab content, as I've said, but I can grab individual content. So I can obviously grab all of these at one time. I can grab all of them. I can group them together. I can make them bigger and smaller using this, or using my pinch and zoom if I want. But what if I didn't want to do that? What if I wanted to grab individual ones, and maybe more than one? So I want to grab the red one and the orange one at the same time. I just press this here and I get a little plus. So I tap on one of them, and I tap on a second one, and now I've grabbed two. Oh, wrong one there. Just there. Now I've grabbed two, just like that, at the same time. And again, I can make these smaller and bigger. I can lock them. There's a whole lot of different options that are available to you directly on the panel as well. The text option is really useful. You want to write content on here. You simply tap anywhere on the screen and write down your instructions. So I'm going to say copy down page, wrong one there, page 5. Okay, something very basic. And I want this to fit into, say over here, maybe go on the top. If I tap on this or I make it bigger, I can also pinch and zoom as well. Oops, my fingers are quite difficult to do one hand. Pinch and zoom to make it bigger, pop it over here. And if it's at a slight angle, I can straighten it up. So if I come across here, I can straighten this up so it's nice and straight now, so I can make it nice and neat. Does it for me automatically. I can pop that just over there. What I'm also going to do is I'm also going to put in a few more things. So I'm going to write a few more instructions on here, or a few more pieces of information. So let's use black, and then let's write some information here, maybe do a circle here and things on there. And what I'd like to do now is, imagine that I need loads more space. So I've filled this up with stuff, with content, with writing from my students. They've got an instruction, I want to move on. Just down here, in the pan and zoom option, we can have an unlimited canvas, so much room as we want. Top right hand corner is our mini map. It shows you all the stuff that's on there, and I can get rid of that or keep it as I want. So we can have an unlimited canvas for as much room. In the bottom right hand corner, we've also got this, and this is our various pages available to us, just like we saw earlier with that example. We can also add a page, and we can also add a page directly from our template, or we can add a page just as a regular white one. We've now got two different pages there, and you can have as many pages as you want. So you have as many pages as a PowerPoint would have, or more. But like ActivInspire as well, have many pages you like, but they're also far more flexible than they would be. There's a couple of other tools on here. For example, this one, this is the snapshot tool. This allows us to grab maybe sections of this and keep it. So there is a section there, and it has the word copy. I've now taken a picture of that. I could also tap on this and be very specific about what I grab. Maybe grab this one and the word copy and the word down and just that. So I'm kind of grabbing a section of that. I know it's hard to see, but I've now grabbed just those two words and this little circle here. So you can grab pretty much anything, just like a screenshot button would work on a computer as well. We've talked about how we can write on this, change it, scribble it out, rub it out, using different ways, maybe add in Maz tools and potentially add in auto shapes. And what we're going to talk about now is the ability to add in media. And this is where I think Explain Everything Whiteboard really shines and really becomes a really effective tool for teaching. And it's just up here in the Add Media button, and we can add pretty much anything. Before we do that, we want some room in our page. So we're going to come down to our pan zoom down to here. Let's say we're going to zoom down to there we go, and we're going to a new part of our page. We could do that, or we can go to a new page if we want, go to page 2. You have the option there, whatever you're using. So we're going to press our Add Media option, and we've loads of different types of ways we can add in media, and different media that we can add. So you can add in locally sourced media, and by that I mean stuff that's already on your panel. And you can do that by using photo, video, or a file. And it is any file. You can add in clip art. That's basically default clip art that's on your panel. You can add in a sticky note as reminders. You can even add in a browser and a picture and a video, but we'll talk about those in just a wee moment. The sort of last three here, or maybe last four, but the Google Images, the YouTube search, YouTube search, and the Unsplash, they are features that allow you to pull content from online, and they're really useful because it means we don't have to go to those specific websites and find them. It's all embedded. So I'm going to do a lesson, and I'm going to use the layers of the earth. So we're looking at something like it can be a Key Stage 2, Key Stage 3 lesson. So I'm going to go to the Google Images, and I'm going to search. I'm going to search for layers of earth. Direct. I can make this smaller and bigger, by the way, if I want to. I'm going to press search, and it's going to go straight to Google Images, and it's going to find all those images just there. So I'm going to choose this one here, this nice purple one, and I add it in straight away. Now I can move this around. I can make it smaller and bigger. Just remember, if I'm using this, I can also rub it out, and that will actually rub out that content there. I'm using my palm to do that, remember? So I can rub that out as well if I wanted to. So I could edit the bits that I want to edit as well. I can make it bigger, smaller, put it wherever I like. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to add in a video. So I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to search for the exact same thing as before, layers of earth, and hopefully I get something. I could search Key Stage 3 as well, or Key Stage 2, there's one there, layers of earth for kids, tap on there, and it brings up a little video here. I can shrink this down, and this is basically the YouTube website. I could press play there, and it'll play just there, like any video would. Now, I'm obviously not going to watch the whole thing now, but you get the idea. Press play, I'll take you through there. There's the video playing. I could make it full screen, by the way, and that'll take up my full screen, as you'll see, just here. If I press play, it'll play the full screen. I can make it minimize at the bottom here, and it'll play just like that. And that'll play as I'm teaching. I can also make notes on it and use it like that. No, I'm going to pause that. I could remove it, I could keep it in there. And what this means is I could prepare this before my lesson actually starts. So when I'm ready to show that, I just click on play, and it will play that video. I could do it in the middle of a lesson if I'm searching for something. I could also find a different one as well that I've used locally. So let's put this one just slightly down here so I have a bit more room on this side. Go back into Add Media, and now we're going to have a look at Unsplash. Unsplash is royalty-free images. So I'm just going to search for Earth, because it's not as specific as the other ones, but it can be very useful. So there's a really good one of Earth there. There's more one that's like an art type one. Maybe we're doing an art lesson, we need an example, so we can add that in, change it, make it bigger, make it smaller, etc. Let's put it actually just about there, so take up most of the room. So what we're going to do now is we're going to minimize that. We're going to have a look. There we go. We're going to pan down, and we're keeping this up here, and we're going to add in some more things. So let's go to, we want to add in a photo, a video, or a file. And these are all locally installed, source stuff here, locally installed. So this is my files. These are all the files on my panel. Load of stuff on here. And I want to add in a picture of, could use a dinosaur. I happen to have a load of stuff on here for those individual topics we're talking about. So there's layers of the earth, and I've got a PowerPoint here, I've got a picture, I've got a movie, and I've got a PDF. So let's add all these in. Let's do a picture first, add it in. It allows you to crop it. So if I want to crop it, I can. I don't really want to crop this, to be honest, because it's kind of perfect the way it is, but I'll do it anyway just to show you. Press done, it adds it in the exact same way as before. So there is a nice picture. Do the same thing. We're going to go to a photo, video, or file. This time we're going to add in a PowerPoint. So we're going to add a PowerPoint into here. And bear in mind, depending on the size of your PowerPoint, it has to obviously copy it in, just like a PowerPoint would take to open or import to somewhere else. And it'll put it into your Explain Everything file. Also remember, you can do this before you start the lesson, and now's a good time to mention that although this is a whiteboard app or an app directly on the panel, you can make content using explaineverything.com, the website, and you can then download that project, as I've done with different projects I'm going to show you, and open it up directly on the panel using Google Drive or OneDrive or any connected drive on your profile, meaning that you could start or continue a document, a piece of work on the website on any device, any computer, any iPad, and then as long as you can transfer it over to the panel, you can then continue it or teach it using the panel itself. So there's our layers there. Shows you all the ones here. We can come across and have a look at them all. Twinkle ones always have one at the end. It's a bit of a background one, so we'll get rid of that one. And we could add these as separate slides for all our individual slides we have. We're not going to do that though. We're going to go to grid. Press insert, and they're going to add it in as a grid to our page. Now, bearing in mind, This will look like it is a sort of screenshot of our PowerPoint. It's not. So once it moves in there, I could pop it in here and say, I'm going to pop it here for prosperity. And then I'm going to come across. If I tap on here, I can make it bigger and smaller, or I can use my my pinch and zoom as well. I'm going to ungroup this, because when I ungroup it, it means I can pick a random one and pull it out. I can make it bigger and it'll keep the same resolution, as you'll see in a second. I could then write on that or highlight it, highlight this person here, highlight this word there, cross. So I'm highlighting things that I think are important. Then when I come across, if I shrink this down, that shrinks with it, and I could then put it back. So it means it's a different way of approaching or looking at a PowerPoint, where I'm not going through it step by step. You can still do that on your computer, your connected computer, but it allows me to go through it. I could also go through it separately on my slides if I wanted to, having different slides as well. It's exactly the same for a PDF. So I've got a PDF here of layers of the Earth. This is much smaller. I'm going to insert it as well, and I can do exactly the same thing again. And this is particularly useful because an awful lot of teachers will use PDFs when they're teaching. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to ungroup this, meaning that when I come across and I want to focus specifically on this page here, I can pull that across, I can make it nice and big for us to have a look at, and we can start highlighting this, putting in our answers and talking about things and going through this just like that. So shrink this down, put it back in there just like that. And lastly, we're going to add in a video. So we're adding a video in here, and this is Layers of the Earth video. And we'll add it in as well in the exact same way. And it's going to be very useful, because what this means is you don't have to worry about going to YouTube and finding it. You might already have that. So if I press play here and turn it down a wee bit, oh, we can hear that, but they're playing music. I could pause, and let's say I skip to about here, press play, and we'll pause just there. And I want to take a screenshot of this part here. I can go down and take a screenshot. I can grab, let's say grab all this. So I'm going to grab this, and then this, and then this, and around here, and around here. And I don't want this page for some daft reason. I'm going to grab that there. So there I've grabbed a lot of content just in there straight away. I could save this if I wanted to. So if you want, you can duplicate it. I can also add it as a clip art, which means if I had that specific thing, I could add that as a clip art. Let's do that now. Add it here. So let's go up here and we go to our clip art. You'll see we've got custom ones here. I can add in as many times as I want, and we've got individual clip art as well you can use from Explain Everything. Tons of stuff in here, as you can probably see, whether it's clips or cubes or mass shapes, whatever you want, you can add in just there. That's really significant. The last thing I'll talk about is the browser. So the browser is literally what it sounds like. It's a browser. So if I wanted to have a specific thing, such as a game, like Top Marks maybe, and I want to hit the button, which is a fairly popular one amongst teachers, and this is the website I'm opening up here, I can have it physically embedded in my game or in my lesson. So I'm going to shrink this down. There we go, right down there. And we're going to add in, oopsie daisy, sorry, we're going to add in this here now. So I want to be able to access this, and I'm going to press play. And I'm going to play it there, get conceit there, we go. There's my game there, play the game, go through it. I'm sure people have played this before, blah, 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 blah. Press the X, I'm back here. So I can move this out of the way, I can make it as small as I want, meaning I can come back to it at any point. So there's a lot of media that I've collated and put in here, and really significantly, I can do that at home as well. So let's do that. Let's come out of this. So we could save this if we want to, we're not going to. We're going to press the home screen, we're going to go to discard, and we're going to bring us back to our screen that lets us choose things, and we're going to go to files, and we're going to open up an existing item we're going to go to. So let's go back here. I happen to have one just here, so back into here, there we go. And I've got basically I've got an Explain Everything file I've saved earlier and put on a Google Drive. So I'm pulling this from a Google Drive, or I can install it locally and open it up directly on there. And this is about various things. There's a page you can see in the bottom right hand corner with different pages, whether it's ActivPanel, whether it's talking about different types of files we've got here, whether it's talking about Explain Everything and different software that we have as an offering, or our support networks with all the things we can offer just there. Now that we've had a look at the Explain Everything Whiteboard app directly on the panel, we're going to have a look at how we would create something to use in class at home or away from your panel. One of the greatest aspects of the Explain Everything app and Explain Everything in general, a bit like Active Inspire in the past, is that we can create it on any device because it accesses it via the website. So I'm on a MacBook here, but you could just as easily be on a Surface Pro or an iPad or any PC, any Mac, any device really, as long as it has internet access. So if you navigate to the Explain Everything website, which is www.explaineverything.com, or if you just Google Explain Everything, it will be the first one you find. This is the home screen you will see. Now, as you can see, it has Explain Everything on here, it talks about Promethean, and you want to initially go to sign in. Now, when you go to sign in, it will ask you to create an account if you haven't done so already. This takes a couple of minutes, maybe even seconds, and you may see, if you go over the pricing here for a wee second, that there are different tiers you can use. The one we're looking at predominantly is this one, with that lovely word free. So the free version allows you to do everything that's covered in the previous sections of this video, and I think for most teachers it'll be more than enough for them to be able to access and use for all of their lessons. You can use the infinite canvas on your slide, you can use, all the same features. It doesn't remove any features that I've currently showed you. So I think it's an incredibly powerful tool with the free version as well. As you can see here, there are some limitations. Now, I personally think these limitations are easily gotten over, and I'll show you why in a moment. But there is, things to be aware of, really. I think mostly it's things like collaboration and recording, but in reality, I don't think we're going to be using collaboration in classrooms. And if you have a V9 panel, then you have the recording app already installed on the panel, which you can use. Now, the main issues are going to be this one here. So as I'll show you in a wee moment, if you're on the free tier, you can save 3 projects at a time in your Explain Everything drive, which is the online area that I'll show you in a moment, that has all your saved documents. Now, the way around that slightly is, you don't need to keep them there, and in fact they don't connect to your app. So in reality, when you make a document, when you make an Explain Everything piece of work that you want to show in class, whether you're using the free version or the advanced version, which I'll show you next, you have to download it anyway and transfer it over to your panel. The easiest way of doing that, in my view, is using something like Google Drive or OneDrive, whatever you tend to use with your panel, or you have synced to your panel on your Promethean account. So this is why I think it's probably not that much of an issue to use the free. The only thing I could say maybe being slightly easier is this here. This is the 1 slide per project. So on the app version, you have as many slides as you want, but on the free version, you are only limited to 1. Which means that you can only plan 1 slide at a time. If you felt the need and you were using lots of slides, you wanted to use it a lot more ActivInspire, you would need to consider using the advanced version. As you can see, with move over to the advanced version here, you've got unlimited projects in your area. So although you still need to transfer them over, you don't need to worry about that getting full up. You have unlimited slides, which means you can use it in exactly the same way as the Explain Everything app. So that's probably the only limitation. You also got some other features as well, like spinners, timers, polling, and things like that. And it's something certainly to consider. One of the, I suppose, if you are looking at the advanced plan, it's £55 a year. It's per teacher. It's less than Twinkle. I personally think it's well worth it, but I would almost road test Explain Everything first to see if you like it. And if you really, really like it and you find yourself using it and preparing it at home, as I've been doing for for a long time now, I think just find it's more than worth that price. But as I say, I'm not pushing that. I want you to consider the free version first and foremost. Make sure you like it. So we'll come back out of this, back to our Explain Everything homepage, and we're going to have a look at signing in. So we're going to sign in. I am going to use the advanced version. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to show you any features you don't have. As you can see there, I skipped past that, sorry. You can create one just there. It's really, really simple. It won't take you very long. And as I said earlier, you can just go for the account you want to use. If you signed in before, it'll remember, or it might use your Google, so you won't need to sort of go through the process every single time. It should sign you in automatically. I'm going to sign in with mine just here. And after that, we're going to have a look at our Explain Everything drive. So this is a drive here. You can see, obviously it's online, so we can access anywhere you like. I've got 1 document here. Now, if I was using the free version and I had a new project, I could add 2 and then 3, but that's my limit. So I can't add any more than that. So if I want to have the ability to have loads in there and not worry about where they are, then you would look at the advanced version. If I'm not bothered about that, I'm happy to save them to my desktop or somewhere similar, or to Google Drive, then I'm going to use it like that. So I'm not going to worry about this one at the moment. What we're going to look at the ability to send and receive these, because if I go into here, it's exactly the same or very, very similar to the app itself. And what you'll actually find is some of the features have been moved ever so slightly, just a little bit on the app compared to the Explain Everything web version. So you can make folders and things like that, and that can be useful if you want to, use the advanced version, have loads of different files in here and keep track of them online, and you can rearrange how they're ordered and things like that. You can change the account. If you go to my account, it'll give you the option to change, and there's advanced there, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to go back to my cloud project. I'm going to make a new project, something very basic, but I'm going to go to new project, and we'll just use a template, something nice and simple. Let's just do something to do with a KWL chart. All right, so we'll open this up and we're going to save this. So I want to save this, and there's two ways you can do that. So this is what comes up, by the way, when you're using the web version, because it allows you to record content unlike the app. Just go to mute microphone and join, and now you can use it in exactly the same way as you use the app. So I can prepare my lesson, prepare my content, and use it as pretty much like that. If I want to keep this in my sort of EE app, come back to it later on, I probably need to give it a name. So I can click on here and give it a name. I'm going to call it KWL. And say I'm finished working. This will save automatically, by the way. It'll auto-save very, very regularly. But if I was to go back or refresh or come back out, I'm going to go press Projects. I'll bring me back to my projects, and there's my whiteboard app just there. It will change to KWL, by the way, so don't worry. If I go back into here, it's that same one I just used. When it opens it up, as I'm going to do now, I'll be able to continue on from where I last left. This is really useful because it means if I'm starting work at home on my school computer on this document, on the website, and then go home, I don't use my school computer, I like using my MacBook or using a different computer I have in the house, I can continue and don't have to move it around all the time. So I've opened it up on here, and what I want to do now, I say I'm finished, I want to send this to my panel to be able to use for the lesson. So if I come up here with like a little share option, it's called, click on here and I go to export. So if I go to export, it gives me some options. Now if I wanted to save it as a PDF, or print it or save it as a PNG, I would use these options. We obviously want to transfer this over as a project because we're going to continue it, we're going to show it to our students for the lesson. So go to project, it'll say proceed with export, and it'll turn it into a wee project. There, it's called KWL. The name of these files are .explain files, and that's been saved to my documents. So there's my documents right here. You can see it just there. What I would then do is open up Google Drive. Now I have my own Google Drive here. Yours probably looks more like this. Lots of mess, lots of things like that. I would make a folder. I think I probably have a folder here. So I will right click. I'm going to make a folder called, it's got a new folder. We're going to do folder, and we're going to call it Explain Everything. Okay, so let's do that. So right click, new folder. Let's call it EE, just for quickness. Press create, and there's our new EE folder. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to find where my document is, and I'm going to drag it in. Now if you're on a PC, it's a slightly different way of doing it. You can right click and go to file upload and find it. So it's in my downloads and it's there. Press open, and it will upload it there. Now you just saw in the previous section, if I go into my files on my panel app and my Google Drive is synced up, the EE folder will be in there, and this will also be in there as well. So I simply click on that and I copy it over. So to do that, I tap and hold on it, I go to right click and copy, and it will ask me where do you want to save it, and I would save it locally on my panel. I don't even need to save it locally. I can now keep this in my Google Drive permanently. So I'm saying save it locally. You don't actually need to do that. If I go into my Google Drive, into my files, and I go into this EE folder and I click on this, it will open up automatically in the Explain Everything app. If I then make a change to it and I save it, it will save in Google Drive in this app here, which means I could start a project at home on my computer. I could put it into Google Drive, and I could not take anything with me, no USB, nothing, no emails. I could walk into school, I could sign into my panel using my phone, or if you're using a premium, using the card. I could go to my Google Drive within my files, I could find that document, I could click on it, it'll open up and explain everything. I could make changes, I could change things around, I could add bits to it, and then I could hit save, and it will save directly to my Google Drive as well. And then go home and I can continue on from where I left off, see all the stuff I did, see the additions I've added, basically go back and forth using Google Drive almost as a a line through, connecting from one computer to my panel, or the panel to any computer for that matter. I hope that clears things up a wee bit. If you have any questions or queries, please do let me know. My details are at the end of the video. If you have queries about the advanced version, I'm more than happy to explain it. Like, I'm not pushing it out there as something that's necessary, because it's not necessary at all, but I do think that it certainly adds some, it makes things a bit easier for people to use, and there are some nice features in it as well. But I think for the time being, and for a lot of schools, it's not needed, and schools can use it really, really well with the free version and the Explain Everything app. And we're going to have a nice clean screen to start off with. Tap on our little flame here, and one of the options already is screen share here. If I go to screen share and I want to connect to my device, all I need to do is be on the same network as my panel. In schools with under C2K, that is generally the case anyway, that your iPads, and usually as iPads, are going to be connected to the same network as your panel, which is going to be the C2K wireless one. If that's the case, and I appreciate it's a bit more difficult for you to see on here, but if I have my device, I'm going to scroll down from the top right hand corner. It's going to bring me to what's called my control center, and then you press the two overlapping squares or rectangles. It will then scan, and I'll show you this in the full screen by the way in a wee minute. It will scan to find your panel. You just check the name, ActivPanel 210659, make sure it's there and tap on it. It takes about 5 seconds and you'll be able to see that my phone will be on here just like this. You've got number 1 appears on your screen, tap on there, and this is your device. If you tap on the name, you can click to it, and you'll be able to see your device is now displayed on the screen. I'm going to show you now in a bit more detail what I did there. So I scrolled down, so you can see on the big screen now from the top right hand corner, I brought up your control center, and I tapped on the one that's already been highlighted there. It's not highlighted when you first do this. It's two overlapping squares. Click on it and make sure ActivPanel, blah blah blah, whatever your number is, click on that. That's it. It connects it up. It means you can use your phone in pretty much any way you would use your phone, whether it's a camera tool, whether you're using it to take pictures of people's work, or possibly just to use, evidence and things like that. Or there's specific apps that you want to use directly on your panel. You can do that with your phone. Now, if I press the wee purple circle here with the 1 on it, it's going to bring me back to my menu. If for whatever reason you want to highlight numerous things, or possibly want to get rid of someone, you press the X and it will disconnect them. If you want to showcase a device such as a Surface Pro or certain versions of Windows devices, you can also do that too. I'm going to show you that now. So all you need to have is probably a Surface Pro, which I'm very certain is every teacher now in Northern Ireland. It's also working on other devices as well, but I'm going to use my laptop here because it should be the same. And on your device, on your laptop, all you do is, and again I'm holding this up to show you, but it'll be easier to show you on the screen whenever I connect it, is hold in the Windows key on the keyboard and press K. Just tap like that. You'll see on your device here, it brings up the name of it. Again, I'll show you that in more quality in a wee second. But you just tap on the name of it and you're connected. So this is my device here. It connects it up here, and I'm going to bring it up here just like this. So there's my device. Now, one of the options, I'll show you what I did here. So if I'm on my keyboard, I hold in Windows and tap K, this comes up, ActivPanel came up, I clicked on it, and it brings this here, and I connect it. Allow mouse and keyboard input. If I toggle this on, what that does, and I'm going to try and show you here by holding it up at the same time, is if I click on here, I can navigate on my screen, I can navigate on my ActivPanel, I can navigate through what I'm doing on my laptop or my Surface Pro, and that's really useful. It means I'm able to take this around the room essentially or use it at the panel. This is a laptop, so I can't disconnect the keyboard. You can do that on a Surface Pro. You can just pull the screen off and walk around and use it as a. This is touch, but I can't pull the keyboard off. So I could use this and walk you through this. Pretend this is a really nice Surface Pro. I'm going to go into my slideshow from beginning. It means I can walk around here and I can swipe through stuff like this. Again, far easier to do in a Surface Pro than what I'm doing on here because I'm having to hold the whole keyboard. But that's really, really useful if you want to use it. The nice thing about connecting it like that is if you connect via a phone, you're using the C2K wireless, so you're kind of at the mercy of the Wi-Fi. Whereas if you're using a computer, Surface Pro, or possibly a more updated version of a Windows device, you are using what's called Miracast. Miracast is Wi-Fi agnostic, so it doesn't actually matter how good or bad the Wi-Fi is. The Wi-Fi could be 0 and you'd still be able to use this. Now I'm showing two devices here. I could show two at the same time. If I tag on here and I go to share,
and there's two devices on at the same time. Remember, while I'm showing all of these, I could still use those same techniques. So I could use my annotate, I could use my screen share, I could use lots of different things. So I can annotate tools on top of these both and grab certain ones from here, or grab different things. So there's red, I'm going to circle this part here, I'm going to circle this, and I'm going to draw the links between the two, even though there aren't any. I'm going to take a screenshot, and I can put that somewhere else and grab it, and I'm not going to do it now, but you get the idea, or delete it entirely. It gives me an awful lot of options when I'm trying to grab content, whether it be outside of my panel or on the panel itself. And obviously, I haven't even talked about connecting your computer and using your computer as well, but it is just a case of plugging in your computer into an HDMI or USB-C, choosing source and choosing that there, and you'll be able to go through everything and work it and use it in the same way you currently work it. You want to open a PowerPoint, you just open it up on your computer that's connected to your panel, and you can use a touch instead of having to use a specific pen. That's kind of it, folks. There might be bits and bobs that sort of forget or get lost in there. Hopefully it's comprehensive as as it can be for you. What I was saying, I'm going to put my details at the end of this video. Usually these are accompanied by an on-site, or maybe they're in place of an on-site until one can be booked. But if you have any questions or queries, please do let me know. My sort of office hours in the mornings are generally from around before school, actually, until about say 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12, 1, depends on where I am in the afternoon. The afternoons I'm usually out in schools doing training, potentially at your school as well at some point. So generally try and give me a call if you can in those sort of hours between say 8:30 to about 12, and I will 99% of the time be available either for a phone call, for WhatsApp, things like that. As I say, all my details are going to go up at the end of the video. Any queries, questions, cries for help, you can let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and all the best. Here are some additional features that you may find useful on your ActivPanel 9. One of them is the screen recorder. This is the app I'm currently using. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner, I've got a stop and a mic on option. This shows me I'm currently screen recording, as does the red rectangle around my screen. In order to access the screen recorder, click on the flame button, go to your applications, and find the screen recorder icon. As you can see, it's at the top right hand corner. When you click on the screen recorder icon, you will be asked to press the record button or to make some changes to the recording process itself. You can add or change whether you would like to have touch points, so you can see where the user is touching, and you can add where the microphone is. On an ActivPanel 9 Premium, the microphone is inbuilt into the panel, so you will not need to add any additional peripherals. However, on ActivPanel 9, you may need to add a microphone. This could be a standalone microphone or a webcam with inbuilt microphone. I'm going to use the app to show you some other features and then how to save your recording. Another application that can be used and is used quite a lot are the spinner and the timer. The spinner can be found in your applications either in the first or the second page. As you can see, it's in the bottom right hand corner. The spinner app lets you choose a number of different choices and add different options for you or your class to customize. If you want, you can grab anywhere on the square to move it around. As you can see, if you move your finger around the spinner, it will spin. You can add a number of different types of confetti and celebrations by tapping on the cog. The cog brings out a little menu at the side and lets you change the celebration from none to confetti to fireworks. You can add a sound if you want, celebration, cheering, drums, or not at all. You can even change the duration of the spin. I tend to use about 1.5 seconds. Importantly, display selection shows if you're going to whenever it spins, it's going to jump to number 3 and only show you the 3 that I've chosen. If you turn this off, it will just stay where it is. The arrow will stay on the 3 and you will have to read out that selection. Repeat selection is very important because this means that it will continue to repeat any choices that it makes. For example, if I had the names of pupils on my spinner and I wanted to ask pupils to come up and get a prize or to do a job for the week, I probably would want to turn off repeat selection. That would mean if a pupil did get chosen, they wouldn't get chosen again, however unlikely it
quiz. However, if I'm doing sums or just randomly asking pupils questions and rinse and repeat sort of things, I want to turn repeat selection on so pupils know that even if they get asked something, they may get asked again. You can choose the style and change the style of your icons and your colors as well. Obviously, you can add your own spinners. You press the drop down menu, you can see you've got continent shapes, some pre-listed ones. If you press create list, you can make your own. It starts off with 2 and allows you to add more. If you tap on name, you can give your list a name. If we call this class, and we can add our own here. So we'll add Sarah, and we'll add one here, Jane. If we go to add item, we can add a third and a fourth and a fifth, etc. Once you add a name in, you can press add item. You can add as many of them in as you want. You'll notice as well at the top, import. If you tap on the import, then you can browse your files on your panel or in Google Drive or OneDrive connected accounts, and you can add in CSV files. CSV files are a list of Excel names, which you may find a bit easier to do for adding longer lists. You can also add multiple things at the same time. So if I wanted this spinner for numbers, if I press the plus, I can add a second one. And in this one, I'm going to add continents. So there's my continent. So we're going to name me three countries in a specific continent. So I could spin this one first, then I could spin this one as well. And at the same time, it's going to be Australia. And it's going to be 4. So we name me 4, obviously not countries, but name me 4 places in Australia, for example. Pupils can do it and teachers can do it alike. You can have up to 4 spinners at the time. There is an update coming pretty soon that will allow up to 8 spinners on the screen as well. If you press the little magnifying glass, you'll see you can change the size of each of your spinners. Currently it's small to medium or to large or even full screen. If you want to close them, you press the X and it will close them. Very similar to the spinner app is the timer app. In order to access the timer app, if you press the flame button on the panel, then choose applications. You may find it's on the first page or the second page, but the timer app looks like this. It's a little clock. So when you click on it, you'll be presented with maybe a spinner, or maybe a stopwatch, maybe a timer, or maybe a clock. The timer app is actually 3 things in one, and if you want to jump between those, you press the little cog, and the cog will allow you to choose between stopwatch, timer, and the clock. Currently, we are on a stopwatch. This is this one up here. If you go to the middle one, this is a stopwatch here, and we've got a clock over here. So it's clock, stopwatch, and a timer. Now, just like with the spinner, we can change elements of how it works. So we could change celebration. And by that I mean this is a timer, so when it counts down, it finishes. Do you want something to come up, confetti, fireworks, or do you not want anything? Do you want a sound to happen? Again, you can choose different ones or not at all. Or we'd like an end phrase. Maybe you'd like a time's up, pencils down, or well done, or again, you could choose none. You can edit presets here and put them in here, and you can apply them to the timer. We're not going to put them in. You can make your own presets, by the way. So you tap on here, you put your own preset. It might be maybe you have 5 minutes of golden time every time, although 5 minutes already there. Maybe you have 7 minutes of golden time. You could put that in and apply to the timer, and it will be put onto your timer here. Obviously, you can toggle numbers up and down to make the timer that you would like. If you'd like to make it analog, you just toggle this one up on here, and you can make it analog. You press the play, and it will start just like this and go through the motions. These apps, the spinner and the timer, will open over the top of other things. So if you're opening your desktop, they'll still be open, or you open a different app, they'll also still be open. If you want to edit any elements of them, you go to the cog. If you want to add more or make them bigger, you use the other options down here. So the little magnifying glass, just like with the spinner, will make this bigger or smaller. So if I press the magnifying glass, I can choose between medium, small, and large. There's large here, for example, or I can go with full screen and make it really, really big. If I want to add numerous ones on here as well, if I press the plus, I can add a second one. So we could have 2 different stopwatches for 2 different groups, perhaps, with a bit of differentiation, or we could have mix and match. If I press the cog again, I could change this one to a completely different thing. Maybe it's a clock. So we're changing this one over to a clock. So we have a clock here, and we've got a stopwatch. On the clock side of things, we can change analog, we can change the second hand on or off, we can do 24 hours on or off, or analog on or off. In that way, we can show or represent the same time in a number of different ways. We can even change the time zone, which is really, really useful. You can even type it in if you want, or you can just search from the preset list. depending on where you are, or if you wanted to do a topic on how time differs in different parts of the world. On all of the examples, you can change the style of the clock as well. The last one then is the stopwatch, and it's pretty simple. It's just on or off basically. You can turn it, you've got the centiseconds on or off if you want. You can turn them on or off, and again you can have a sound of ticking as it goes up past the seconds. You can turn that on or you can turn that off. You get rid of them, you press the X on all of them, just like this. Now we've obviously recorded this little section using the screen recorder, and as I said earlier, the bottom right, the screen recorder is just on here. We can move it around, and when we're done, we press stop. Now when it stops, the screen recording will stop and you won't be able to see or hear this, but it will give us the option to either save this, to save it into our document, or to save it to a Google Drive or a OneDrive. And all you have to do is press save video, and then you choose your OneDrive or your Google Drive or your files and press save, and it will be stored in there.
Thanks for watching this ActivPanel 9 orientation video. Please use any method above to contact me, whether it's a phone call, WhatsApp or message, email, or through Twitter, and I'll do my best to answer any questions or queries you may have. Thanks again.